All right, let's take a look at a few news items. A lot of them out there. So there's a fake wallet app in the iOS Apple Store, which is not common. The Google Store has a lot of malware, but the Apple App Store is supposed to be clean. In fact, Apple is using the fact that they have to work hard to clean the store as the justification for their 30% charge for all money spent in the store. And it is pretty bad. This app was there for 2 weeks, like a week after it was reported. They still didn't take it off. And it's a fake app that imitates the Leather cryptocurrency wallet, and when you use it, it steals all your money. So it's pretty bad. That's a bit of a black eye for Apple. They did apparently remove it after it hit the press, but they have to do better. At least I think they ought to do better. And Europe is forcing them to allow people to install apps from alternative stores, which I haven't seen a report about yet. That supposedly went into effect at the beginning of this month. And Apple said they were going to do something to secure those alternative stores, and I don't know what they've done or how well it worked. Let's see, anybody get rid of this garbage? Nope, apparently not. All right, so another thing they did in Europe is something that happened to Microsoft after the trust-busting lawsuit in 1998. They've decided not to let Apple on iPhones install their browser Safari by default. Instead, they forced them to display a screen asking you to choose your default browser with browsers that are popular in your country presented in a random order. And it turned out that a much larger number of people are choosing Brave. So this is the same thing that happened with Microsoft. They were sued over Internet Explorer and Microsoft's Active Desktop in Windows 98 that integrated the web into the background of your desktop, and forced to present the same kind of thing, offering alternative browsers to users in an easy way. Now, GitHub is where you post code if you want to make it public. You can make a private GitHub repository, but a lot of people post things there because they're open source and they want them to be public, but an incredible number of them then leave secrets in the code. 12 million secrets and keys leaked in the code in 2023. There is an option in GitHub to scan your code for secrets and warn you or block it, but apparently it's not on by default, and apparently a lot of people leave it off and expose their secrets, so that's pretty bad. This is how a lot of the attacks go these days. The attacker gets in with real credentials, with authorized passwords and keys, because they just find them lying around somewhere, or they're able to buy them from some other criminal. Just checking for comments. Email about a letter for recommendation. All right, if you'll have to give me your real name, there is somebody that's been sending emails arguing about, contact me later. Let's see. Reconnect to a Linux server hosted by Google Cloud. No, I can, after the lecture, you can come to Zoom and show me that. And Enigma, I know there's one person going back and forth about a letter of recommendation. If you give me your real name, I can recognize if you're that person. Anyway, all right, so this is straight out of science fiction. An active shield, this is a huge problem. If you ever want to send people to Mars, and for that matter, even to spend any time on the moon, which we are apparently going to do, we're going to have a moon base and we're going to have people living on the moon for a period of time, which is a really bad idea because they're going to get a really high dose of radiation. We've already sent people up to live on the International Space Station for a year, and that is not good for your health. So, and it turns out that there's no way to put the shielding you need. The shielding you need would be tons of water, and there's no way to blast all that weight up there. So they're trying to develop active shielding, where they'll have some kind of magnets making a magnetic field around the spacecraft, the way there's a magnetic field around the Earth. And there are plans to make it, but there's a whole bunch of different systems they talk about here. None of them seem to be ready yet. So this is one of the many reasons why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, and he's out of his mind. There is no way to go there without getting a lethal dose of radiation on the way. At least that's the understanding I've gathered. And no possibility of living there, and no possibility of ever coming back. So it's just a suicide mission for no apparent reason. We really need better radiation shielding if we're going to do more space exploration. And we're going to need some kind of active shielding, and this stuff is in its early stages. I was very surprised to see this. This is very nice. IBM has developed a incident response training facility in Washington for critical infrastructure. And they are going to have training exercises for federal agencies and critical infrastructure like water and electric power plant companies. And there's going to be some amount of free training involved. So this is certainly a good idea. We'll see how it goes. It's extremely important these days. Let me see. If I use GitHub, I can be hacked. Well, now if you use Udi, okay, good. I'm going to make a note of this, Udi. I thought I already sent you that letter. I'll check into it. Let's see if I can figure out how to get to my notes. Okay. All right, I'll look into it. I don't have an answer right away, but I'll make a note. Letter. I thought I sent that a few days ago. I'll check into it and let you know. All right. What's that? IBM is laying people off? Yeah, everybody is. But I didn't know they were, but I'm not surprised. It's a popular idea these days. Was there another comment there? Let's see. Right, if you're using GitHub, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be hacked. What it means is if you use GitHub and you have a public repository, then anybody can see your code. And you should not put secrets in your code, like passwords and API keys. They shouldn't be hard-coded into your apps anyway. The right thing to do is to load them from a file which you do not upload to GitHub, or an environment variable which you do not upload to GitHub. And there's two reasons to do that. The first thing is because you don't want to make the mistake of exposing it to people who can see your code. And the second one is you have to plan for some way to change that password and API key later. And if you hard-code it in the code, it's hard to fix. So you really should be planning from the start that any kind of authorization credential is a temporary thing that will have to be regularly changed. And you should have a facility for that. Anyway. Right, I see Swoozy also has a good point, that if you're downloading random code from GitHub and running it, then you might download malware. That's also true, yeah. All right. Good?
That was free stuff.
Oh, sure. But if that's right, free stuff, you have to check it. There's a hacker that claims that they have stolen federal contractors, and they're selling a whole bunch of data from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and some other federal agency, USCIS, I don't know what that is, but they claim to have a whole lot of data to sell, so full names, passport, date of birth, phone numbers, and so on. This thing just keeps happening. This is, of course, why they're trying to have more cybersecurity training and more incident response training. So the NSA and the CISA have been putting out a lot of really good guidances lately, and now they put up cloud security strategies, which sounds like a good idea, but I was sort of horrified to realize I can't even understand what any of this is. Uphold the cloud shared responsibility model, use secure cloud identity and access management practices. I have used secure cloud key management practices. I have only the vaguest idea what they mean by these things. Network segmentation and encryption, I like that. Secure data in the cloud seems to something. Anyway, there's the plan, and each one of these goes to a paper you can read to learn more, and I guess I'll have to be learning this as we go forward. It seems a little bit opaque, the way they describe it here, but in general, I think it's the same stuff we expect, like logs and monitoring and encrypting and protecting things with access control lists and such. But anyway, it's a huge problem. Cloud security is a huge problem. It's how cloud things keep getting hacked. Operational technology is what I'm doing this been doing this pirate course in it, talking about it. This is the technology that controls factory equipment and industrial work, and it is turning out that the CISA is badly understaffed and ill-equipped to perform to secure operational technology, which is really important. It's critical infrastructure in America. It's things you really need, like factories and water plants and electric plants and stuff. So they're talking about how CISA is not really staffed correctly to do this job. And a thing to be aware of, the government is, CISA I think is doing better than any previous branch of the government ever has at helping us secure our systems with a lot of good information, but people say it's not yet ready for OT security, which is a big pressing issue right now. Microsoft has put out free security training, which is kind of interesting. I looked at this. This looks like it's approximately a Security Plus training. If I was teaching Security Plus, I might consider using this as a free textbook, although the best textbook I ever found only cost $10 anyway. It's come from the Navy or the Army. Anyway, I don't know why Microsoft chose to do this. But it's got everything here. It's got the documents and the quizzes and everything. So it's an interesting thing to do. I just don't know why they bother, because there's hundreds of Security Plus textbooks out there. I don't know why they feel there's need for a new one, but anyway, you can't beat the price, and it might be good. And this was kind of interesting. There are locks, electronic locks, and these turn out to be extremely dangerous, extremely vulnerable. They have a whole series of vulnerables. There's you can brute force the thing leading you to the unlock key so you can open the lock, because there's only 65,000 possibilities. They have a 16-bit random integer, and there's no limit on how many you can try, so you can quickly try them all until you find your way in. You can downgrade the encryption protocol used to communication down to plain text. The AES key is not unique. It's apparently always the same, and you can easily get it. So their encryption is worthless anyway, and so on. Just an amazing number of really serious flaws in these locks. And this is why you need people to test products. A lot of people publish products without apparently going through any security review at all, or without having any developers that have any idea what they're doing. Anyway, all right, let's see. Is this going to be addressed in your Pirate class on secure coding? Well, I don't know. I hadn't thought about GitHub. We'll see. It's mainly going to be about fixing specific vulnerabilities in code. Microsoft's Learn platform is great. Oh, okay, that's good. The textbook, the $10 textbook is, wonder if I can remember the name of this guy. Well, let me find it. This is actually a frequently asked question. I have it from when I used to teach that class. There. This is the guy, Daryl Gibson. I'll see what the current version is. Daryl Gibson is a military guy, and his book is excellent. It's accurate, and it's at the right level. And there it is. And see, it's $32, but it used to be the Kindle version was $10. And the Kindle version is still $10. So I'll throw that link in the Twitch chat for anybody that cares. If you want to get Security Plus certification, I strongly recommend getting this book. It is excellent. And man, that link is ridiculous. But anyway, I'll throw it in my news links too in case anybody wants it later. That's the best Security Plus book. The best one to prepare you for the test, and the cheapest. Two things that you might not expect to go on. I was using a class, and we were using a $110 textbook that was garbage. And I switched to the $10 book that's much better. All right, I'm going to stop this recording.